Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. For this video I thought I'd do the disabled blogger tag, which was created by Elin over at My Blurred World. My Blurred World is a great blog, go and check it out if you haven't already. You know, Elin talks about her visual impairment and her experiences and thoughts and feelings and stuff like that, so it's really good, go and check that out. She created the disabled blogger tag because she realised that there wasn't anything for disabled bloggers, you know, in terms of tags out there. You know, there's tags for all sorts of other subjects and for all sorts of other types of people, but not for disabled bloggers. So she created one of her own, which is great. And I was one of the people she tagged to do it. So thank you very much, Elin. I was also then tagged to do this by the Invisible Vision Project and Life of a Blind Girl and Amanda Jean. So thank you to all of you for nominating me to do this as well. And they're all great bloggers as well, so do go and check them out too. I'll put links to them in my description below, just to have done in my blog post that goes along with this. And yeah, let's just crack on with the questions, and I hope you enjoy it. So question 1, when and why did you start your blog? I first kind of got involved in social media a couple of years ago, about like 2015, 2016, getting into Facebook and Twitter and stuff, because I knew I was getting ready to move to London at the time, and you know, I wanted to kind of start following, you know, useful accounts and things, you know, just to put up like a news feed, as it were, of things that might be useful to me, you know, so London attractions and London transport and all sorts of things to do with London, basically. And some disability stuff as well, you know, disability charities and stuff, sort of add them into the mix. And that was all it was going to be. I was just going to use sort of Twitter for that purpose, really. I'd never used Twitter before. I rarely used Facebook that much, to be honest, apart from, you know, keeping in touch with friends a little bit. So yeah, I just kind of set up kind of this feed of material just for me to kind of keep an eye on what's going on. But as I was doing all that and exploring places like YouTube as well, I found this community of disabled bloggers and video makers out there, which was kind of a revelation to me. I kind of guessed there would be 1 or 2 bloggers out there, but there's way more than I expected. I realised there was this huge community of, you know, disabled bloggers and YouTubers. So I started following them quite happily and, you know, enjoying their posts and stuff. And you know, I thought it would be a useful support network as well. If I ever did have any problems, you know, as I was settling into London and stuff, I could, you know, call on people like that, you know, to ask advice and things. And I was sort of tempted to kind of have a go at blogging, but I was very kind of nervous about doing it. I didn't really think I'd be any good at it. But then Scope did one of their End of the Awkward campaigns in 2015, and for some reason I sort of cottoned onto that and thought, well, why not? I'll make a video for that just to, you know, support it, because I thought it was a great campaign. So I did, and it got a really good reaction, and they even included a bit of it in their compilation of people's submissions. So that was really nice of them. That gave me a bit of a confidence boost. But I still wasn't really comfortable making videos then. I mean, that video I made wasn't particularly great. It's still on my channel. It's the very first video on my channel. But yeah, it's not perhaps my best work because it was very amateurly done. But yeah, I was very pleased with how that turned out. But I wasn't particularly comfortable with making videos at that point still, so I kind of didn't make any more then, and I kind of looked into blogging instead, so I figured, you know, writing would be easier. And eventually I kind of started off my blog in February 2016 and started writing about my conditions and my experiences, and yeah, it's just kind of grown from there, really. You know, later on then I did get back into YouTubing and started making videos to go with some of my posts, and then I've just started making videos kind of independently in my blog. So yeah, it's just grown and developed since then, and opportunities have come along as a result of it. And yeah, I never expected things to go the way they have, but it was clearly worth starting it off given the way things have worked out. Question 2, did you intend to talk about your disability from the beginning? Yes, that was largely why I set the blog up, really, just to kind of share my experiences just like everybody else has been doing. You know, I loved the fact that, you know, these other disabled bloggers I'd found had been raising awareness and helping to educate, and they were getting such good responses. I thought, well, you know, I'll stick my 2 cents in as well and tell people a bit about me and my conditions, because aniridia is rare, nystagmus is rare, and yeah, hopefully it will just raise a bit of awareness and give support to those who've already got it, as well as informing those who don't know about it. So yeah, I always intended to talk about it. That was kind of the main focus of it, really, so to speak, every pun intended, because focusing for me isn't very easy. But yeah, that was basically the intention, to talk about my visual impairment and to show that being disabled doesn't stop me living a happy and fulfilling life. Question 3, have you ever been sceptical about talking about your disability online? I think I was very unsure to start with, rather than sceptical, I suppose. I just didn't know what to expect, really. I didn't know if I'd get trolls being abusive, or if people just would find my style of writing not very nice, or they just wouldn't be interested in what I had to talk about, or you know, maybe I just wouldn't get noticed at all in amongst the sea of other bloggers out there. Maybe I'd just be this quiet little voice that nobody notices. So yeah, I just thought I'll give it a go and see what happens, and if if one or two people like it, then great. But if nobody does and I'm just shouting into the ether for months on end, then obviously it's not going to be that worth my while. So yeah, I was just unsure how it would work out, but there seemed no harm in giving it a go either. So yeah, I just gave it a go and things have worked out very, very well, thankfully. Question 4. What kind of response have you received or do you receive in relation to your disability blog posts? Very, very positive. People greatly appreciate my honesty and the fact that I'm talking so positively about these things and showing that I can lead a good and happy life. And I think it reassures people that they can lead a good life too. It just gives them an extra bit of support and confidence knowing that someone with a condition like mine can just get through it and deal with it and adapt to it. Parents in particular seem to come to this channel a lot and to my blog because they're searching for information about a condition that their child's been diagnosed with and they're very unsure about. It's devastating for parents quite often to hear that their child's got a rare disease, and it sounds to them like the child's life is going to be horrible or really difficult because of it. But by doing this kind of thing, I want to show that no, it's not that bad at all. It's still possible to adapt and lead a very happy and successful life. So parents have come to me saying they're very reassured and grateful that I've been able to show them stuff like that. So clearly social media is a place they go to when they're looking for information, and if I can use that to help make people feel better, feel more confident, feel more reassured and supported, then that's wonderful, and I'm glad it's getting that kind of response. Question 5. Do you write or talk about other topics apart from your disability? Yes, lots. I mean, a lot of what I post about now is what I get up to when I'm out and about in London. Going to the theatre or going to museums or going for walks or socialising with friends and stuff like that. And I talk about the technology I use and the TV and music and film that I like and stuff like that. So there's quite a variety of stuff going on. There's a lot of posts that aren't about disability. It's very much a mixture these days, which is great. That's always what I wanted to do. So yeah, there's something in there for everyone, I like to think. Question 6. What steps do you take to make your blog accessible to yourself as well as other people? I've tried to keep the design very simple. I've used just a plain background and tried to keep the font a clear font, and for me I can invert the colours on the screen and make it easier, so hopefully other people can change the colours if they need to as well. I use alt text on the images, alternate text, that's short form. That's basically text that you add in the media browser in WordPress or as an alt tag in HTML if you're writing HTML. It just gives a description of the content of the image, and most people who view the website normally won't see it, but screen readers will read that text out to describe the image to blind people. So yeah, I do that for all my images, and on Twitter I use the option to compose image descriptions, which is under settings, accessibility in the app or on the website. It's not turned on by default, which is always seemed very odd to me. So yeah, if you've not got it turned on, go and turn it on, and then you can just add a little description of the images that you add to your tweets. It's really, really helpful. And then on YouTube, I add captions to all my videos as well, all the ones that have speech anyway. I just try and just use those little tools to just help people engage with the blog a bit more. And I've got bits set up on the menu bar on my blog as well, that lists some of my posts in different categories. So all my out and about adventures are all on one page, so I can kind of scroll through and see which museums and parks I visited and which shows I've seen and stuff like that. Summarises it for me as well as for other people. It's just easier for me to find posts that way sometimes, as well as for other people to see what I'm posting about. So I try and keep organised as much as possible. Question 7. What is your favourite part about blogging about your disability? The reactions I get. Basically, as I said earlier, people have been very positive in their responses, and it's really supported them, and just given them hope for the future and stuff like that. It's really humbling and flattering to get responses like that, and it's even got to the point now where I've been invited to give a couple of public talks now. I went to the Nystagmus Network last year and a primary school this year. It's great that people have that faith in me to go and give a talk to inspire people and to educate people in that way. It's been quite an honour to get offers like that. So I'm pleased that people are responding so well to it, and that I'm having a positive impact. That's it really makes all this worthwhile. Even if just one or two people get inspired by it, it's worth it. So yeah, I'm very flattered and humbled by the response I've had. So thank you if you're one of those people who have given me a positive reaction. It really has spurred me on to continue doing this. So yeah, thank you. Question 8. What are your top 3 favourite disability related blog posts that you've published? I'm going to cheat here slightly. I'm going to say 3 pairs of posts, because I seem to have posts that I can kind of group together, because it is hard to pick just 3 on their own. Top of the list has to be Living with Aniridia and Living with Nystagmus. They started off as blog posts, like my very first blog posts that I made, and then I later made videos to go with them. And in both cases, the videos and my blog posts are still some of my most popular pieces of content at the moment. You know, I suppose people search for those terms, Aniridia or Nystagmus, and they land upon those videos or those posts. And I still get, you know, views ticking up on both of them, and every now and again I still get comments on them as well. So I'm really glad people are able to relate to them and to understand them. Considering they were like two of my earliest videos, so they're not, you know, as good as perhaps I'd like them to be, the fact that they're still doing well is very, very pleasing to me. I'm very glad about that. The next pair is Building My New Social Network with a Visual Impairment and Growing Up with Sight Loss. They're both based on talks that I've given over the past year. You know, these are the first two occasions that I've ever given public talks about my disability, so they're a really big deal for me, and both talks went down really well. Building My Social Network was the talk I gave for the Nystagmus Network at their open day, and then Growing Up with Sight Loss was the speech I gave to the primary school last month. So they both went down really well, and they've made really good posts as well. And again, they've had very good responses. So they mean a lot to me, both those posts, because they reflect big challenges to me that I took on that I'd never done before. And yeah, they give a good summary of my life as well, to be honest. So yeah, I'm very pleased with those. And then the final pair is How I See and Room 101, My Visually Impaired Frustrations. Both videos have had the involvement of the RNIB for one reason or another. The How I See video was in response to their How I See campaign. They're asking people, you know, to talk about their eye conditions very briefly, so I did. So it's kind of related to my Aniridia and Nystagmus videos from earlier, but this is a much more brief summary. And the RNIB really liked it, and they shared it on their Twitter and on Facebook, where it got a huge response. And it directly led to me getting the offer to go and speak for the primary school this year, because the support assistant from that school saw that video and decided to get in touch with me through the RNIB to say, would I come and give a talk? So that was a very unexpected result of doing that campaign, but it worked out really well. It gave me an amazing opportunity to go and talk to some children, so that was brilliant. And the RNIB shared a clip from my video in their compilation of people's contributions, so that went down really well. Room 101, My Visually Impaired Frustrations, was based on the Room 101 TV show, really, where you nominate stuff to be consigned to Room 101 forever, you know, all frustrations in life. It was originally written just off my own back, you know, the RNIB had nothing to do with it. It was just something that came to mind as a random post idea, and I did it. But the RNIB saw it and really liked it, to the point where they asked permission to share it on their own website as well. So they shared an edited version of it on their website, which was very, very flattering. So those are the three pairs of posts I would nominate. But, you know, I'm pleased with all my disability posts. You know, they've all had good reactions. They all seem to have helped to raise a bit of awareness and, you know, deal with people's misconceptions and offer support and things like that. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how they've all worked out. And if there's any videos or posts you want me to make about, you know, my disability, then, you know, feel free to suggest stuff. You know, I'm always open to suggestion. Question 9, do you think the disabled blogger and YouTuber community is overlooked? Yes, definitely. I mean, disabled bloggers and YouTubers don't get promoted or shared as widely as regular bloggers. Some websites and platforms aren't very accessible for certain disabled people. Not all sites work with voiceover, for instance, so blind people can't use them. And some people don't feel supported by the platforms that they want to post on, even if they can. You know, I mean, YouTube is infamous for demonetizing videos by disabled creators because their algorithm flags them up as not being advertiser friendly. So, you know, I mean, I've had that on a few of my videos before. I'm not bothered about making money. I don't have enough viewers to even try making ad revenue anyway. But, you know, even so, the fact that a video gets demonetized, it's just a kind of message from the system saying, oh, you know, we don't like you. And if it was to happen on just one or two videos, then maybe it wouldn't be so bad. But the fact that it happens on lots of videos for many people, it just feels like a bit of a kick in the teeth, I suppose. It's very demoralising and very frustrating that the system says that, you know, you're not suitable, even though you're not talking about anything, you know, horrible or anything like that. You know, it's not talking about anything particularly controversial. It's important stuff that we're talking about, you know, to raise awareness. So it is very frustrating for many people. And, you know, it is odd when you get a video flagged for no apparently good reason. So things aren't perfect for disabled bloggers and YouTubers, but, you know, at least we are still able to post our content and get it out there. And, you know, it's possible, you know, to do well and to attract a mainstream audience. You know, there are people like, you know, Molly Burke and James Rath who have got huge followings. You know, and there are some bloggers and YouTubers like Fashionista who have, you know, been on the telly and on the radio, you know, on news programs. And you've got motivational speakers, you know, like Fern Lulham and people like Tommy Edison, who's got his own radio show and things like that. So it is possible to be successful, but it is very, very hard to get to that stage. You know, there are lots of smaller bloggers and YouTubers who are posting lots of great content, but it's really hard for them to get noticed, and it's very frustrating for them as well. It would be nice if there are easier ways for people, like us, to just make ourselves more widely known, I suppose, more widely available to the public at large. Because that's who we're trying to reach in a way. We want to show people that disability is not a bad thing, it's not a devastating thing, we can still live our lives and we're still basically normal like everybody else. I don't know what needs to be changed, but I think there must be better ways of doing things, or just better ways for platforms to support disabled creators. Question 10. Do you find it difficult to think of new disability-related content to publish? No. Initially I thought I would. When I first started my blog, I thought I'll write about my experiences and my conditions, and there'll probably be a natural limit to how much I can write about, otherwise I'd end up repeating myself. But there always seems to be new things to write about, new angles to approach things from, whether it be something that's happened to me or something that's happened in the news maybe that sparks an idea, or maybe I see a post from another blogger that inspires me in some way, or a disability charity like the RNIB or Scope does a particular campaign that I can kind of get into. And since I've been in London, I've been going to lots of events that involve accessibility, be it touch tools or audio description and things like that. And I've been going along with disabled social groups to events, with East London Vision and South East London Vision. So there's always ideas coming from different sources. So, I don't seem to be running out at all, which is wonderful. There's always something new to talk about, new angles to approach things from. So, my disability content will keep going for a while, I think. Question 11. Do you think that blogging about your disability helps to change people's perceptions? Yes, definitely. It changes a lot of people's perceptions from, the feedback I've got, at least. For disabled people, it might give them hope about the future, changing their assumptions about how things might turn out. Or for parents of disabled children, again, it will reassure them that, the future isn't as bleak as they might have assumed it was. And for non-disabled people, they've responded very well as well, saying that, it's changed their viewpoints and their assumptions. When I went to do the school talk recently, both children and staff were saying, it made them look at, disabled people in a new way. So it's surprising, really, how much it seems to have had an impact, more than I ever thought or hoped it would. But it's definitely been the most rewarding thing about doing this, knowing that it has that impact, and, being able to talk to people and have comments from people saying that it's, helped them out and changed their assumptions and their perceptions and things like that. It just makes it all worthwhile, and my ramblings have really paid off, and I'm happy to keep doing it because of that, because I know it is having such an effect. It's been very, very rewarding and very flattering that, people have responded in that way. Question 12, who do you tag? This is difficult because a lot of people have already done the tag, and a lot of people have already been nominated to do the tag, and ultimately we just want as many disabled bloggers to do this as possible, really. So if you're disabled and you're a blogger or a YouTuber, then I tag you. Go ahead and do it. It'd be great to have all of us out there, talking about what it's like to be a disabled blogger and a YouTuber. It's just really interesting because everyone comes to it, with slightly different approaches and different thoughts and feelings about it. So let's just get as many people doing this as possible. So that's it really. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to Elin from My Blurred World for creating the tag and for nominating me. And also to the Invisible Vision Project and Amanda Jean and Life of a Blind Girl for nominating me as well. It's been very interesting doing this, and I hope you've enjoyed my answers. And that's it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I will see you for another video very, very soon. Bye.